fighting up here don't really mean shit to me unless you're going to fight me here now.
Think that Jake would have enough time, seeing as he's already undersized. He's not a real heavyweight, and this is Anthony fucking Joshua we're talking about.
Punch, really. If he takes a big punch from Jake Paul, if he gets hurt in any way by Jake Paul, if he doesn't absolutely ice Jake Paul within a few rounds of this 8-round scheduled bout, well then it really affects his credibility.
Tensions erupted at press conference when Anthony Joshua confronted Jake Paul. Following perceived disrespect, the heavyweight champion reacted angrily, expressing his frustration over Paul's comments and behavior. Don't matter. We're going to fight now. We're going to fight tomorrow. The heated press conference was only the beginning of the conversation surrounding Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. Experts weighed in analyzing the risks and implications of the fight. Legendary trainer Barry McQuiggan offered particularly strong criticism, highlighting the genuine fear that many experienced boxers would feel facing someone like Jake Paul. Having spent decades around elite heavy hitters, McQuiggan emphasizes that the first clean punch can completely change the dynamics of a fight, showing just how dangerous the matchup could become. Wade, host of the Wade Concept podcast, reveals that Jake Paul's secret weapon for the Anthony Joshua fight has been exposed. He explains that Paul has been sparring with multiple heavyweights to replicate Joshua's size, height, and experience. These sessions allowed Jake to practice handling real heavyweight power while sharpening his timing and strategy. By training against opponents who mimic Joshua's attributes, Paul is preparing himself for the unique challenges he will face in the ring.
Some people are saying, AJ's grabbing the bag. There's nothing wrong with that because anybody else, if they got offered that kind of money, they would do it. So, yep. And some people are suggesting he might damage his legacy. Where do you sit with the decision of him taking that fight? And it's a professional 8-round fight as well.
Yes, it's a highly dangerous fight for Jake Paul. I don't know what he's doing unless they have done some sort of caveat or some sort of agreement that he says he's going to go easy on him or he's not going to go flat out. But I've been tossing this up and down in my mind and trying to figure how and under God, when he had agreed to fight someone like Tank Davis, who is, several divisions below him. That's more like what Jake Paul does. And then he goes from there to fighting Anthony Joshua. I mean, just look at what happened to Francis Ngannou, who's a big, athletic, tough guy and had gone 12 rounds with Tyson Fury and given him a real ding-dong. And then he gets absolutely obliterated in a round and a half against Joshua. That shows you, despite the fact that he's been knocked out since by Daniel Dubois, who could knock out anybody, by the way, in any weight division or in any era of the heavyweight division. He's such a powerful guy; he could knock anybody out if he hits them properly. But it just seems utter madness. And
Spencer Oliver, a former professional boxer and analyst, approaches the upcoming Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul matchup from a unique perspective. Speaking on a panel of experts, Oliver suggests that this bout carries more than just competitive stakes. It has symbolic significance for the sport itself. He draws a parallel to Muhammad Ali's era, noting that Ali often took unconventional fights that captured public imagination and drew attention beyond regular boxing audiences. According to Oliver, if Joshua agrees to face Jake Paul, he will be stepping into a moment reminiscent of Ali, where entertainment value and spectacle intersect with professional sport. The matchup could potentially bring new viewers to boxing, exposing the sport to audiences who may not follow traditional heavyweight bouts, while also testing Joshua's ability to maintain focus in an atypical scenario. The fight also represents a cultural moment in boxing, bridging the gap between traditional fans and a new digitally engaged audience. Oliver's comparison to Muhammad Ali's unconventional fights illustrates how high-profile bouts can expand viewership and generate global attention. By entering this arena, Joshua is engaging with a broader demographic, including younger fans who may follow Jake Paul primarily through social media platforms. This crossover effect can elevate the sport's visibility, potentially increasing revenue streams and sponsorship opportunities. Analysts suggest that the cultural impact could be as significant as the fight itself, positioning it as a landmark event in the ongoing evolution of professional boxing.
Anthony Joshua fight, if you're Jake Paul, who hasn't fought someone in the top, realistically, the top 50. I know Tommy Fury is ranked in the top 50, but anyone that is a top 50 fighter, even in your weight class, let alone a top 10, top 5 heavyweight in Anthony Joshua, who was a 2-time heavyweight champion of the world. Can you get prepared for a guy like that if you brought in, let's just say, a deity, freaking Zeus, Hercules, whoever, to prepare you? Could you do it? I don't think that Jake would have enough time, seeing as he's already undersized. He's not a real heavyweight, and this is Anthony fucking Joshua we're talking about. But I will say there were rumors going around that Jake was not taking this fight as seriously as he needed to. That Jake was dilly-dallying, flying to go see F1 in Miami after his press conference, and then going to see his girl all the way in the Netherlands if she's trying to qualify for, I think, the Olympics or something else. There was this post from his girlfriend. I don't know if, again, this was in the Netherlands or where it was at, or maybe this is an old picture, but Jake flying around the world when he has a fight in about 4 weeks is probably not the greatest look, and it doesn't seem to make it look like he's taking it as serious as he needs to, locked away in the gyms of Puerto Rico. Now, again, that could have been a different picture. That could have been something else, but that's pretty shocking to see. With that being said, I want to push back on that because I do think Jake is taking this as seriously as he absolutely needs to, because this is not only the toughest fight of his career, it's the most dangerous to the longevity of his career, to his health and well-being. And so to do something like that, you need to bring in the best help possible to get ready. We already heard that Jake Paul was preparing it for Anthony Joshua by sparring the guy that Anthony Joshua was about to fight in Cassius Chaney. This gentleman right here, who was 24-3 from B-More, aka the DMV, and apparently is a top 100 heavyweight, even though it doesn't say he's actually a top 100 heavyweight, but that was what he was being marketed.
Veteran boxing analyst Gareth A. Davies raises serious concerns about the safety implications of this fight. He highlights the considerable weight difference and the disparity in experience between the fighters, suggesting that the matchup stretches the limits of what is safe in a professional ring. Davies emphasizes that a full-scale contest could be dangerous, particularly if Joshua lands clean, decisive punches early in the fight. From his perspective, while the spectacle of a social media personality challenging a seasoned heavyweight is intriguing, the physical risks involved make it a highly questionable endeavor. Experts like Davies caution that regulatory bodies and promoters must carefully evaluate the safety measures in place, as the consequences of a miscalculated bout could be severe for both competitors.
Pops him a few times in the face, walks out of 150 million quid. No one will remember the fact he fought Jake Paul. They'll remember the fact he knocked Klitschko out in Wembley in 2017.
Totally agree with that.
So I'm kind of, whilst I don't like it, and I don't like the way that Jake Paul gravitates to these brilliant athletes and like a moth sucks the life out of them because he gets a benefit of association, because I think they deserve all the association. But he is a and there was opportunity there, wasn't there?
Listen, commercially, of course it works because it'll be huge and there'll be a load of money on the table. And for Anthony Joshua, it's like sort of, you know, he's going to get rewarded very well with no risk, minimal risk, no risk at all. He's going to go in there and he may then put all this stuff to bed with Jake Paul and calling out all these different champions, etc., etc. So, of course it works. And when you're talking about, you know, the credibility that Joshua's going to get, he's not going to get none now, but are people going to remember that? Of course they're not. Like, when he goes on to do what he does, didn't Muhammad Ali have some sort of strange fight in the middle of his career? Didn't he box? Yeah, he did. He boxed some non-boxing guy and whatnot. Like, people don't remember that. That's what I'm saying. Look, us as boxers, we don't remember stuff like that.
It was replicated in Rocky. So, he did a version of fighting Thunderlips, didn't he? So,
boxing analyst Angelo and Josh provide a technical breakdown of the matchup, assessing both fighters from the standpoint of experience, skill, and natural ability. They assert that Jake Paul, while courageous, is not at the same level as elite heavyweights like Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder. Joshua and Wilder are part of an exclusive class of boxers whose timing, precision, and raw power can decisively change the course of a fight in a single moment. Angelo and Josh stress that these qualities are developed through years of rigorous training and natural physical advantage, traits that smaller or less experienced fighters cannot replicate. They note that bravery alone does not equate to skill, and while Paul's confidence is notable, it does not substitute for the depth of preparation and instinct that professional heavyweights bring to the ring.